David here with Figboot on pens, not with a pen review today, but a bit of a retrospective. You see, this week marks the 10-year anniversary of my starting this channel and posting my first review. I thought it was appropriate to mark the occasion with discussing a bit about my journey with this channel, as well as going over some of the lessons I've learned from 10 years creating content. Back in 2015, I was knee-deep into the fountain pen hobby. I was looking for a creative outlet. Whenever I would receive a pen, I would write my feelings down about it in these Tomoe River notebooks. It just started as a way for me to use the pen I had just purchased and get my thoughts down on paper. I filled up lots of these notebooks. I actually had to number them because they all kind of look the same. After a while, I got the feeling like it might be fun to create some online content myself. But I really wasn't sure what form that should take. Would it be a blog? Would it be a podcast? Or maybe a YouTube channel? You know how there are certain things in life that you know that you aren't good at and you could never accomplish. I'm not trying to be negative here, but I am never going to be able to dunk a basketball on a regulation rim. That's just not happening. But when I would see other creators' online content, I thought to myself that might be something I could do. I like to write. I have a background in film and television production. I have decades of public speaking experience. So in the Venn diagram of the skills necessary to create content like this, I felt I was, right there near the middle. For most folks, having a hobby is generally something you are consuming. And I thought it might be fun to participate in this hobby by creating something as well. I've said this before, but I even wrote down some pros and cons, and where was it over here? Yeah, over here. And in the end, I was really wavering on whether it was something I wanted to do. I was actually leaning toward not doing it. But then right about that time, Dr. Stephen Brown posted a video titled, "Why Aren't You Doing Reviews?" where he talked about his experience creating reviews and encouraged others to do so as well. He might have well been speaking to me directly because that's pretty much what pushed me over the edge. To begin with, I even wrote down some goals. I think goals are important, and I think it's important to write them down. Now, these goals might have seemed a bit self-centered. There were things like have 1,000 subscribers, have enough views to start earning revenue, get recognized at a pen show, things like that. But my intention with them was far from any egotistical need for attention. It wasn't that at all. I considered them more to be markers along the journey. And if I was doing things right, and if I was creating quality content, then these things would happen. Think of it like the monoliths from 2001: A Space Odyssey, which were essentially alarm clocks notifying the aliens in far-off space of our progress here on Earth. Nothing like a movie reference from 1968 to really drive home a point to a modern audience. Quick 2001 side note. It's an amazing and groundbreaking film if you have not seen it, but there are parts of the film that are indeed a bit out there. You got to use your brain a bit when watching it and interpret what it means to you. There was a story that during the star-studded premiere of the film, as soon as the film ended, Charlton Heston stood up in a recognizable booming voice that everyone in the theater would hear and yelled, "What the hell was that?" Which was a sentiment that a lot of people had about that film, but the legacy of that masterpiece endures today. Okay, what have I learned from 10 years on YouTube? First of all, don't care about viewer comments. It's important to listen to people, but I believe that if you give off positive energy, then you are more likely to receive positive energy back from your audience. Every once in a while, you'll receive an unhinged or unkind comment from someone hiding behind a keyboard, and it will be extremely difficult to ignore them. While there are times which will require you to engage, they are best left ignored. I really shouldn't be talking about my kryptonite here, but you could say anything you want to about my opinion, or you could say how terrible my handwriting is. I realize that it's an acquired taste, but it's me. That's how I write. But if someone should question my integrity, then that's when I have a hard time not fighting back. In 10 years, I've probably only needed to ban maybe 4 or 5 folks for behavior that significantly crossed the line. Next thing I learned is that it's good to help others, and it's important to respect those that came before you, encourage those who came after. Over the years, there have been other creators who have started before me that were a big help to me with advice and guidance, and there's been many new creators over the years who have reached out to me, and I've always tried to be encouraging and supportive as possible, within reason. I have had people send me 40-minute long reviews of a Lamy Safari asking for feedback. The initial feedback is that no one needs to listen to a 40-minute long review of a Safari. I even had one creator reach out and say that they were 16 years old and were thinking about starting a channel and wondered if I could lend them my Namiki Emperor for them to review. They didn't even have a channel yet. They were just thinking of starting one. While I did encourage them and wish them the best of luck with their channel, needless to say, I did not lend them my Emperor. And to the best of knowledge, they never actually really did start the channel. Next thing I learned is that you always need to strive to improve. When you first start off, your videos are most likely going to be terrible. That's just the nature of this kind of thing. It takes a while to find your voice. My first videos looked heinous. I didn't have any lights, so I could only shoot during the daytime. So I had some odd shadows. For some reason, I thought it was a good idea to have my computer on behind me, and I was going to change out the background each video, but that was just distracting. The audio wasn't great either, but over time, I improved things. I improved my equipment, I found my voice, and I like to think that I have improved the production quality as well as the content quality. And finally, I learned that you need to make yourself happy and really to be proud of your work. Creating content for this channel takes around 10 or more hours a week, and it's something I enjoy doing. If there ever comes a time when it changes from being an enjoyable extension of the fountain pen hobby into something that's more of a job or a burden, then at that point I'll need to take a hard look at the future of the channel. But even though it takes a lot of work to produce content, it's something I still enjoy doing and will continue to do because, it's not only do I get to produce content, I get a lot in return as well. Some of the rewards that I get is to test out pens that I wouldn't have had a chance to use otherwise. I mean, just a few months ago, I got to play around with a pen that belonged to King Charles. How cool is that? I really enjoy learning about new makers as well and making friends in the pen world. And then also featuring them on the channel. And it's really satisfying to see a new maker that you feel is doing some quality and unique work start to get some additional recognition in the community because of some additional exposure that I can help provide. And another thing that I enjoy is I enjoy talking to folks at pen shows. Whenever I'm at a show, lots of folks will come up and say hi, and I appreciate that. It tells me that I'm doing a decent job of creating information and entertaining content, or else folks wouldn't bother to come up and say hi. I thought about including a list of my top 10 favorite videos of the last 10 years, but that would add a bit of length to this video. So maybe I'll do something like that in the near future. Let me know in the comments below if you'd like to see that top 10 list. And if you did, what video do you think should make the cut? In the end, I am very grateful for the last 10 years in relation to this channel and the experiences it has brought me in the fountain pen world. If you would have told me 10 years ago that I would have my very own Visconti or Montegrappa models, I wouldn't have even fathomed how that would be possible. And, it wouldn't have been possible without you. And I'm very thankful to you, the viewer, for tuning in on a regular basis. And I will continue to work to create informative and entertaining content for many years to come. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.